And all right, we should be good. I see the chat up. Let me see if the actual video is here.
Yeah, and make sure that like you can hear me since these are new earphones. I think I took care of everything on my end. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, let's just see if you can hear me on the stream.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You should be good to go. It's capturing the desktop audio, so you guys should be all
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Actually, babe, I know you're really excited about the record player to play your Stardew. I know that puppy dog face is saying, "I love you," but can you check the audio for the podcast real quick? Just real quick, just because Soul has new earbuds. So.
Fuck you, Soul.
Oh my God. Jesus.
That's my wife.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just to make sure that he can be heard, there's no echo, stuff like that. There should be no problem. I didn't change anything, so.
Yeah, it should be okay.
Alright, kind of hear it.
Yeah, I mean I just messed with like a few things in the settings and should be good.
But he's fine. Okay, you can go back to Stardew. It's okay. she looked at me. She's like, he's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good. And I'll check for Walt when he comes back from his logging. Yeah, his logging.
Cool.
Ooh,
I love that he decided to do this now, you know?
Hey man, you can control it, you know?
I guess so. Should we just go for it?
Let me give him a couple more minutes. He's probably tying up loose ends. For lack of a better term.
Right.
Actually, it gives me some time to tweet it out too, so give me 1 second.
Okay.
And let's catch up. So while we're waiting, do you feel like 2023 was a long year or a short year?
I feel like it went by pretty quick for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I agree.
I always mark it by just like how much I got done with school, and it's like, man, like I really did 14 different classes this year, and I feel like it went by in the blink of an eye. Like, I remember starting school April of last year, sitting down for the first time in this big ass like auditorium with like 60 other people, and being like, oh man, this is gonna be a long journey. And like, I have less than 7 months now, you know? So like, yeah, like this year went by super quick. Just like putting it in like those terms, you know?
Yeah, it was the same when I went to graduate school, and it was only for a year, but still, when you sit down, those lectures are like 3 hours long. Like, all right, I got another, I got another 11 months of this. But next thing I know, I blink and it's the next summer, and now I'm graduating.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah, it's fun though. There you go. There's our boy.
Yeah,
You
there,
good?
there he is.
I came running.
Okay. Well, we're live.
Yeah,
By the way,
so and go ahead and talk a little bit so we can see how you sound audio wise.
Yeah.
That was for you?
For me?
Yeah. Go ahead and talk a little bit.
For me? I have a name, you know? You can just say, hey, Walls, that's for you. God
Sorry,
damn.
I haven't done
I can't
this
see you
podcast.
pointing.
I haven't done this podcast in such a long time. I forgot your name.
Okay. Well, my name is Eduardo. Okay.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hire you up a bit, Soul, and then it should be good.
All right, cool.
All right.
Boy.
While you're doing that,
Shots of Peppa the Pig. Sorry, babe, copyright, please.
Huh?
Stardew, please. No, babe, no. Stop. Sorry.
Hello?
Can you hear me? You guys are good.
yeah,
Babe,
yeah.
babe, That's copyrighted music. Stop.
Hey yo,
I know you're excited.
can't
But
hear anything though.
you can hear anything? Just making sure because we just
No.
got a new record player for Christmas, and so I got my Final 14 stuff and Sammy. I ordered it like 5 days ago, not even, and it ended up coming before Christmas, surprisingly, which is like a 4-box set of the Stardew Valley vinyls. So she's super hyped to play it. That's what she's doing right now. So sorry, continue.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so yeah, this is the DualShock Sense podcast, episode 114. Our final show for 2023. Gonna go ahead and I guess I should say this at the top of the show. Preface that our first show of 2024 will kind of be like our awards for 2023. It'll probably be multiple shows. Like we'll obviously talk it more in depth amongst ourselves, but I think what we've done in the past is that we had like one big show that was just like, you know, random categories or whatever, and then we had another follow-up podcast like the week after that was like us giving like our top 10 games that we played in 2023 or whatever year it was. So we'll probably do that again, but yeah, obviously we'll talk about it. So yeah, that's coming in 2024. That is not this show. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the panel. We have Walt here. How you doing, man?
You say that as soon as I put fries in my mouth. I'm doing really good. I have them on my right cheek. I feel like a chipmunk. I am. These couple of days have been cleansing for me. I've been on the throne long periods of time, so I'm feeling really nice and light. I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
We also have Macho here. How you doing, man?
What's up, everybody? It's no longer the King of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy fanatic. We're retiring that title. We're leaving behind 2023. I'm your Boricua Macho. Welcome to the Boricua Macho channel. This is DualShock Sense channel. But yeah, man, we've been rocking and rolling with Twitch, man. Shout outs to the channel. We reached 50 followers the other day, and
Hey, congrats.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We're moving up and up. People are loving the content, really respond to it well, and I couldn't be happier and more grateful. So shout out to everybody tuning to the Twitch channel, especially to you, Persef. I see you in the chat, man. He joined in for one of the wildest Yakuza 0 streams I've ever had yet. We're talking cat fights. We're talking dominatrix. That shit was wild, dog. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's been very fun and been having a good time streaming and playing some games on offline. But I'm glad you picked Walt before me in this lineup here because I too had food in my mouth, and I was like, I hope he doesn't pick me.
On?
I was like,
am I the only professional one here?
Yeah, I think so. Because I was like, man, I hope he doesn't pick me because I got a bunch of meat in my mouth.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
But
continue with the podcast for our final podcast of the year. Welcome back, everybody. Happy to be here.
What? No, you know what? I'm not going to say that word. Yeah, I am going to say that word because it's our last podcast of the year. We're loose, we're crazy, you know. It's the final podcast of the year, you know. So that's kind of the vibe for tonight. We don't have any major topics that we're kind of gonna get too deep into. This is more or less gonna be a show where we just kind of check in with one another, talk about what we've been playing since we've been not since we haven't done a podcast in so long, and kind of look ahead as well in terms of like the winter break, like what are our plans in terms of like gaming, TV, other things, like what are we looking forward to for the weeks to come. So yeah, that's the plan for the show. Maybe there'll be some gaming related topics sprinkled here and there. Just depends on like what the guys are feeling, what they want to talk about. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is going to be a pretty loose show. But yeah, without further ado, also want to remind everyone, go ahead and like the podcast, share it out, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about what we have been playing for these past 2, 3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
last time we did a podcast, I think it was the second, right? December 2nd.
Possibly, yeah, before the Game Awards, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So, who wants to go in first?
I can kick it off so Walken can finish eating.
Okay. Do you want me to go first so you can finish eating?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
While going your spiel there, I took a couple big bites of yeah. All right, I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
In any case, so I mean, well, as you guys know, I started streaming like late October, and I've been bouncing around between a lot of different games. So some of Alan Wake, which I did like one stream of, but I decided that it's not really it's not like the best game to stream. So I'm gonna take it offline, and they just had the New Game Plus update. So my thing is now is that coming into next year, when I get back from my trip, I want to dive into Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
Sorry, I got distracted by Press Alpha. So think that he actually, well, he brings up a good point because one stream I did do because I subbed to Ubisoft Plus for this month to try out Avatar: Frontiers of
Oh,
Pandora.
I thought you were I thought you were saying that the good point he made was the rib meat in your mouth.
No,
comment that you made.
it wasn't. I'll have to ignore that one, sir. But if you want to bring that back
Oh,
into,
okay.
all right, cool. It wasn't rib meat, sir. It was a beef patty.
Yeah.
So the dark meat. Any case, I tried out Frontiers of Pandora, and I really like it, man. I know this game gets kind of shit on because of the fact it's Ubisoft, and a lot of people like to say like Avatar had no cultural impact, despite making $1 billion in the box office and being a phenomenon. Any case, it's a really fun game. I played the first couple hours of it, and it's one of those things where I play the first couple hours, I was like, all right, I'm gonna put this down because I actually want to dedicate time to this. My backlog is like too demanding that, you know, I actually want to give it the time of day, because when I was playing on PC, the immersion, the atmosphere, this is everything I wanted from an Avatar game. And back then on Lords of Gaming, when I was doing freelancing for that website, I wrote sort of like my perfect kind of Avatar game. And it was third person, so that's like the biggest change here, but it was really selling me on environmental storytelling and doing a really good job of just immersing me into the Pandora world that I've been loving from the movies. And this game does that. I get that from the first couple hours of the game, so one day gonna go back to it. It is still hilarious how it is like a baked in Ubisoft game though. I did see one reviewer tweet out was that there's this one side quest that's very sentimental, and like you're remembering the death of a loved one, and like your end game quest reward was a rifle. So like it's stuff like that. I'm just like, that's definitely Ubisoft to the core, but it's a video game at the end of the day. You know, it is what it is. Trying to think what else. So I've been mainly streaming Yakuza 0, and that's been a blast. So anyone that's interested, go and check it out on my YouTube channel and on Twitch. We've been having so much fun with just reacting to all the crazy moments in this game, and on top of the super dramatic stuff. So I just finished chapter 6, which, if you guys remember, is the chapter where Ishiki's the name, confronts Kiryu and basically wants to kill him to, in a sense, save him from the horror the Yakuza is going to come after him and torture him and stuff like that. And that was just such a hard-hitting moment. Like, this guy wanted to kill his best friend, his brother in arms, to save him from what the horrors of the Yakuza are going to do to him because of what's happening in the story. That was just such a heart-wrenching moment. Nishiki, yeah, thank you. And then the next thing that happens is having cat fights and betting on these women who's gonna win. And there's one girl, I think, what's her name? It's not Veronica, it's something else. But she's wearing the tightest G-string bathing suit with the biggest tatas you have seen in a video game. And I'm just like, this is Yakuza. This is what this is all about. And it's, how can you not love it though? It's like the extremes of both situations, where it's like a high class drama mixed with like the ridiculousness of what a video game can be. And that's why it reminds me so much of Final Fantasy VII, because you had those super epic moments like Cloud versus Sephiroth or wherever the case may be, or the fall of the plate, and then you have Cloud dressing up cross dressing to save Tifa. So it's like these really goofy moments that I think that just makes these games so special. And Yakuza Zero's absolutely there. The dialogue's a little long-winded sometimes and could be kind of hard to stream it, but people are showing up and people are loving it. Like whenever I'm streaming that game, we're always having a great time. So it's been a ton of fun. And I guess the last thing I'll sort of mention on my rant here is I played Jedi Survivor, one of the top games of the year. Was an awarded game, and people have a lot of high praise for it. I dropped that shit like a bad habit.
That's the thing about that game is that it got really like decent reviews and I felt like early on it was being talked about as like, man, this is definitely gonna be like a game of the year contender, but then like pretty quickly after that, I feel like conversation just kind of died down for that game. I feel like I just once we got to the summer, I just really didn't hear anyone talking about that game a lot.
Well, that's because of the fact that it was kind of broken.
That too, yeah.
So they got a lot of flack for that, and rightfully so, because but even then I played it after the patch, right? So I bought it when it's at GameStop. I got a nice coupon for it, so I just picked it up. Want to try it out. Love the first one. Absolutely love the first. I think it's one of the best Star Wars games in years. And so I was really excited for this one. But it got, I don't know why, but it started to feel really repetitive really fast. The gameplay loop just wasn't really hooking me in. And which is disappointing for me since I love the first game. And then it does the thing in stories I'm just not a fan of. And it's the time jump. Where Survivor takes place some years in the future. And basically, you're just finding out bit by bit by bit, and it's just slow. I got through at least 10 hours of the game of what's happening to the crew that you basically made by the end of the first game. So at the beginning, it's like Cal is very closed off. He's not really the kind of person he was at the end of the first game. We don't know where the other characters are, and basically you're just kind of drip feed of where they are and catching up with them as you go. But it just wasn't satisfying, and I just don't really like that kind of storytelling where it takes place in the future and everything's like a mystery of well, what happened to this character, what happened to this character. And I will think that would be a little more interesting to me because I'll be invested in the characters, but it really wasn't. This is the second time that happened to me, because the first was The Last of Us 2, where there was that time jump and they're just okay, what's happening with Joel and Ellie? And then there's this rift that was between them, okay, why is that happening? And eventually you find out, but to me it was just kind of too little too late. I want to know, I want to be in the moment with these characters, not kind of figure out through exposition. But it's just a personal choice, it's just the way I was kind of tackling it. And it happened again with Jedi Survivor, and I just lost interest because eventually I thought the biggest focus of that story was the first trailer with the guy that was in the tube, right? That, I kid you not, was a 10-minute sequence in the 10 hours that I played, and is not even touched on soon after that. So it was one of those things, a bait and switch. That's what they did, or at least what it felt like from I didn't watch a bunch of trailers, but even then, yeah, it was just one of those things. I just wasn't enjoying the storytelling. The gameplay felt really repetitive. It was super janky, and the stances kind of felt meaningless, really. There were some differences, with the blaster and the double-sided blade and stuff like that, but it was just not enough for me to be oh, I'm gonna favor, or I'm gonna switch between all these different stances and see what's really vibing for me. I kind of just stuck with dual wielding and the single blade because those seem like the best options. So I don't know, it wasn't vibing with me. No, I was kind of disappointed with that and ended up getting the game away. But
dual wielding does look really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just it's definitely overpowered. 100%. It's the best one without a doubt. The blaster just feels so weird and janky. And then they have, for some reason, they bring in the guard. What was it? It's not a tank stance. It's something else, Sentinel, I think it's called. Sentinel. And it's the lightsaber that Kylo Ren has. So the one with the cross hilts. for some reason, this is your heavy stance. And it makes no sense because why would a lightsaber hilt be that heavy that will feel heavy for Cal to be slowly swinging around a lightsaber? It just doesn't,
Right.
to me, it just didn't make sense to me. And then it sucked on top of that. So it was just a couple of things about that game that just didn't really vibe with me. And I ended up getting away and, or trading it in and picking up Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is a much better game. I'm so happy with that decision.
Amen, brother. Yes, sir.
It's a great game, man. I'm playing that with Sing right now. We're actually filming it for Twitch and on my YouTube channel, and we're just having a blast with it. It's great fun. I'm sure Walt's playing it, so you can get more into detail. But it's just, I wasn't into 2D Mario games before, at least that much into 2D Mario games since Super Mario Brothers World, back on the SNES. And ever since then, they haven't really captured my attention. It's been more of like the Raymans and a couple other 2D games that are just kind of pop out to me more creatively. And Super Mario Bros. Wonder just fills that gap, man. It's such a crazy good time with surprise around every corner, and it's just a ton of fun. And it feels great to play. Like there's no, you don't have that weird, like, what's it called? The when you're running and you stop and you have like that weird.
It's not heavy.
Yeah,
It's
essentially.
like there's no slippery. It's tighter.
Yeah,
It's
essentially. Yeah. That's the best way to say it. So it's a very, very good platformer.
It's not Hollow Knight,
No,
but it's tighter.
Yeah. But it's a lot better. So it's good. And Press Alpha actually mentioned it. Yeah, obviously Spider-Man 2 and he's in the Tales of Ride DLC. I haven't played that yet, but the Final 16 DLC was really good as well. That was a lot of fun. And then obviously Soul. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla.
Yes, sir.
Potentially game of the year for me.
It's really good.
But
Really good.
yeah, I'll end up my spiel here and then let you guys go because yeah. So what you guys been playing? Who wants to go next?
I've been playing
Yeah,
you.
I'll go next.
yo.
So, what?
I thought you said I'm
Huh?
playing. I thought you said I'm playing you. I was like, what? Hello.
Relax, bro. What are you talking about?
Jesus. Yeah. So I've been playing a lot, man. So let's see. I'm trying to think order of like sequence. So Baldur's Gate 3, obviously still continuing with that. I made like a bunch of progress since our last podcast. I'm not like literally the last thing I have to do is like I have to go do the final battle and I'm done with the game. So yeah, like I pretty much have finished all the companion side quests that I can do up until the final battle at least. There's like a few that's like tied directly to that final battle. So did all those, defeated the dead three, which is like the three major like bosses. That's like at the end of Act 2 and then the two at Act 3 that you need to defeat. So defeated those three characters. Defeated Raphael, the devil. Did that, which is an absolutely incredible fight. I was so tempted to send you guys the music that plays during that fight because Macho, it is like the most like Disney villain. Like it's literally just like Raphael like singing the music that you're hearing during the boss fight. It's him singing, but it's like the most like villain Disney villain mustache twirling, just like him singing about himself and like how badass he is, and you know how like people when they walk into his house they don't come out alive and things like that. Like it's such a catchy song. It's like one of the few like lyrical songs in the game, but it's so damn good. I think it's literally just called Raphael's final act or something like that. And it's a fantastic song, man. Um, so yeah, almost done with that. Alan Wake 2, finished Alan Wake 2 a while ago. Um, really good game, man. It's a really, really damn good game. Masha, you gotta finish it, man. You gotta finish it. Um, but yeah, Alan Wake 2 was awesome. I don't know if I have really any other like added thoughts to add to it from what I've already said in the past about the game, but yeah, it's definitely gonna go in probably like my top 5 if I had to guess. Um, but yeah, and then I think that game, like to me at least, it really hits its stride in like the last third of that game. I found myself like kind of playing that game sporadically, like just kind of like hopping in to the game like every once in a while. But then like there comes like a certain point in the story where I just like I found myself like I couldn't put it down. Like it was just like flying like one major story beat after another, and like it kind of like the last third of that game feels like you get like on a roller coaster and like you're not getting off until you see credits. At least that's how I felt. Um, and yeah, it was really damn good. So yeah, Alan
Nice.
Wake 2. Trying to think what else. Cocoon. I played this little indie game called Cocoon. Have you guys heard about it?
I've
Yeah,
heard
one
about
of the best indie.
yeah the top down puzzle platformer.
Yeah. It's a puzzle game. It first of all, this game is like gorgeous. I love the way that this game looks. It has like a really distinct art style, but even just like things of like the little like stand or like puffs of smoke that like blows up into the air when you like land on the ground, and like like clouds of dust like kind of come up a little bit, like seeing that, the rain effects, like all that, like I don't know, man, like it looks really damn good. um, but yeah, it's a really cool puzzle game that never felt too difficult, right? It's one of those puzzle games that always hits that really fine balance between like, hey, like these puzzles are just hard enough for you to kind of question yourself and almost want to give up, but then when you find the solution to it, you're like, oh, of course that was the solution. Um,
Mm.
so I never felt like dumped or like I needed to look up the answer. Um, I don't know. I always felt like all the solutions were very natural to what was being presented, and even though some puzzles may have taken me a long time and a bunch of trial and error to figure out what I needed to do, I still got there at the end of the day. And I think that's the mark of a really good puzzle game. So,
Nice. That sounds
yeah.
honestly for me that kind of sounds frustrating because I'll just be like, damn man, that was the answer. I could have figured that out like 10 minutes ago and saved some time.
Yeah, yeah. I get it. Um, but yeah, I didn't think it was that bad, man. Um, and then the other thing that I don't know if this game is on PS4. It might be. But low key, this game had like one of the most like next gen like I'm sure you guys have had this, like especially like when we all played like Astrobot for the first time, we were like, man, like this is next gen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure like we've all had that across like other games as well. But like weirdly enough, I had that with this game. The first time that you kind of like so like the main thing about this game is that you're using these orbs, and you it's really difficult to describe this game, but like the main mechanic is you're placing these orbs in certain spots to allow you each orb basically is like a portal to another world. And so you have like an orange orb, a purple one, a green one, and a white one, and each one of those leads you to different worlds. And basically the main crux of the game is you intertwining uh all of these different orbs to place in specific areas to unlock certain paths and whatever. Um, it makes a lot more sense once you actually play it. But the thing that felt so next gen about it to me is like you set down the orb in its little like pedestal, and your little bug guy who's the protagonist, he like almost like a cooler version of like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, of like he flies into the air, he just like flies inside the orb, and like instantly it's just like a brand new world, like in half a second, maybe less. Like it is so cool. It's so instantaneous too, and you can just do it as many times as you want. Like enter the orb, come back out, and it's like just at a like snap of a finger, you're just going into a brand new world. You can come back out and go back to the original world that you were in before you jumped inside the orb. It's so cool seeing that for the first time. Really, every other time that I did it, it never lost its luster. So yeah, that was one of those like, oh, like this feels next gen. Like I don't know, it was pretty jaw dropping. Seeing it for the first time.
And that was in Cocoon.
Um,
That's pretty cool.
Cocoon,
Yeah.
yeah. So
The PS5,
yeah, yeah. So Cocoon, really really fun. Cool little indie game. Really enjoyed it. Um, the other game, obviously God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Just I wasn't. I guess we should have expected it from the Game Awards trailer. Like hearing the old God of War like 3 theme
Oh yeah,
playing in the background, and then obviously like the Cyclops at the end. But man, have you finished it by the way, Macho?
I did. I finished it on Show Me Prowess, and it was grueling, but we did it. It was so much fun.
Those are certainly words. But uh,
Sorry,
yeah. So I
I was chewing on my burger. Sorry.
Jesus, you
yeah,
still
bro
eating
said,
that thing?
I know, my bad, my bad. I heat up.
Spoken Simlish for a moment.
I heated up in the microwave a little bit, and just it got that nice temperature, just the gooey cheese. Sorry, continue.
Okay, we don't want to hear that. So yeah,
Jesus
uh,
Christ.
God of War Valhalla is awesome. I
I haven't played it, so
yeah, well, obviously
it is what it is.
no story spoilers, and also it's free, man. Come on now.
I told him. I
Um,
told him. I was like, "Yo, it's probably my
I know
game of
I
the year."
downloaded it. I just
Be-
have to download the actual game now. 'cause
No,
I
but
think I
see
had to
all
leave
this
it.
all this
Let me see.
praise that Soul was having for Alan Wake 2, and then I got it, and then I also having praise for Alan Wake 2. But you know what made this motherfucker actually go and want to play Alan Wake 2? The Game Awards. It won a whole bunch
Yeah,
of it won a whole bunch of awards. Wow, I had to play it now, Macho. It won best story.
Yeah,
I
no,
had to play it, Macho.
That's
Not-
crazy.
Not, I didn't listen to my
Li-
friends.
listen.
I listened to Jeff Keighley, the Game Awards.
I don't listen. I don't always listen to the people that one has a mug sponsoring a game and that
Oh,
one
man.
likes Destruction All Stars. Sometimes you
Oh,
need a
man.
consensus of an amalgamation of people that tell you, hey, this game's pretty good. I'm like, oh, because I saw Soul's stories and he was like, this fucking artsy ass, and I was like, this looks wacky. But then it's like, it reminds me a little bit of like the not convoluted, but like how the structure of Evil Within was and how it was like all over the place, but at the same time it made sense. And it's like, oh, okay, it's psychological, but also kind of like parody, and that sounds cool. So yeah, I'm down for it.
I'm not even sure if it does make sense, to be honest. But
That's fine.
um, it's just cool, man.
It's the best.
And
It's the
do you know?
best. It's the best shadow drop ever. Honestly.
Do you remember? I was talking about Alan Wake too.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Yeah, it really reminded me that like, oh yeah, like I haven't played a lot of roguelikes, but I kind of dig this like whole subgenre or genre or whatever you want to call it.
So satisfying.
Yeah, it just clicks, man. Like once you get in there, it's just like, yep, like I feel like I don't know, everything just feels like I'm like putting on like a an old like coat or whatever, like something I used to wear, and like everything just clicks back into place. All of the like roguelike elements about it are nothing new if you have played this genre before, but again, it's just all smartly used and it all makes sense, and every run um te- I don't know how you feel about this, Macho, but because some people have said that like every run for them has felt different. I didn't necessarily get that because I feel like I just like well, first of all, because the very first thing that you pick after you get your shield and you pick your Spartan Rage is like what weapon path do you want to go down. I didn't realize until like I think I had already maybe but before I was about to fight you know who for the last time,
Mm-hmm.
that picking your weapon path at the beginning is like, oh, those are like pretty much all the runic attacks that you're gonna get. You're gonna get runic attacks specifically for the weapon path that you choose at the beginning. So it's like the decision you make at the beginning is the weapon that you should be maining for the rest of your run. That never clicked with me, so I was just like interchanging. Oh, I'm gonna use the spear here. I'm gonna use the axe here. I'm gonna use the blades here, instead of just like focusing on the one that you choose at the beginning. So while I was going on a run, I was always like, man, why am I not getting any runics for like my axe for this run? That's because I chose the spear at the very beginning of the run.
Yeah, yeah.
So so yeah, I don't know how did you feel about that? Did you feel like the runs were different enough for you?
Yeah, I mean, what kind of alternated my builds was based on that boss and like how I needed to tackle it, because
Mm.
there are certain instances where I need to change up the strategy, and that involved either using the blades or using the axe. But for the about like half of my time, I was using that spear because it siphoned all the elemental the energy, or
Yeah.
Whoa.
yeah, it siphoned all the elemental, like from different
What,
enemies that
what were
you're
you gonna
playing.
say?
Nothing. And
Okay.
don't worry about it. And it was just such a cool build because it provided you the most variety depending on what kind of enemy you're facing. It just really didn't help against bigger bosses because of the damage output. But if you could find like a really good build for it and just get kind of lucky, like one of the things I loved coming across was the fact that actually in the game, this is a strategy I use for the game as well, where if you just went barehanded, you're able to put poison onto enemies that will basically bring them down another level. And if you were to find that perk on your runs and you had the spear with you, which was kind of just your all around good elemental damage dealer, then you're golden, because you'd be doing so much damage, especially with all the runic attacks that the spear has and everything.
Yeah.
Broken. So I found some really good strategies there, but honestly, what ended up being my favorite, so I knew the spear was. I said from like when we played Ragnarok, the spear like one of my favorite weapons. I think like it's so underrated the way people talked about it, like from just the
Yeah.
story. And
It's probably the best spear.
it
like-
it shines in this
Yeah.
DLC. But the real winner for me, which was in God of War Ragnarok 2018, and even in Ragnarok, was the Blades of Chaos, because that fire damage is nuts, dude.
Yeah, that helped a lot, man.
Oh my gosh, it would absolutely demolish enemies, trolls, those freaking lizards that are so goddamn annoying with their tongues and shit. And then obviously
You
the
know,
final
Camacho,
boss, it'll just demolish them. Demolished.
I don't know, like, I feel like people would be talking about it if this was in this DLC, but it would have been cool if they brought in like past weapons, like the
Oh, funny.
the
Okay.
soul.
Yeah, funny you say
Oh
that.
man, no!
Funny you say that.
No, you're kidding me.
We're not saying nothing.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Oh my god! Where are you, God of War? Come here.
But
We on a date tomorrow, baby.
This dude's like, oh my god.
I will
My
say that
god!
I will say a lot of the returning enemies were really, really annoying.
Returning enemies?
Oh, the Spartans.
There was one specifically that I won't spoil, but like
I was downloading Power Wash Simulator. That can go in the burner. I am pause because it's 83 gigs. Oh my god, I'm gonna download that overnight.
But yeah, there was one specifically that kicked my ass every time. And there's one area, Walt, that you'll continuously like keep returning to later in your run.
Okay.
And it basically does this thing where it's like that area is like on a timer.
Okay.
Almost like Niflheim a little bit from 2018. But basically it's like, okay, you need to defeat 3 waves of enemies before you can progress to the next area. But this time,
Oh, so Destiny.
I guess, kind of. But then every time that this timer runs out, enemies will go up in difficulty. So you remember how like in both games, like the health bar's color would change based off of like their how hard they were to kill. So in this specific area, if the timer like continues to like run out, then you could be running into enemies in this area that are like purple and red health enemies, which is just brutal.
Jesus.
And it's so stressful because this area is so big, and you're like, oh, I have to go defeat these. I think it goes up to like 6, and I'm just like running around like a chicken with my head, or yeah, chicken with my head cut off because it's like these very like small pockets of like you actually run into these enemies, and you're like, okay, I need to find where they are so I can actually, get like the check of like, okay, you defeated this one wave, 2 waves, 3, whatever. Um, and then you also have that added stress of like, okay, the enemies are progressively getting tougher and tougher. I'm also playing a roguelike, so like every hit goddamn counts. And then like once I actually finish this little section and I progress to the next area, I know that there's a boss waiting for me coming up here soon. I need to make sure that when I get to that boss, I have as much health as possible. But because of this previous area I was in, like it really kicked my ass because all the enemies had really, really high health. So it's like, oh, it's so much. But like I don't know, that added stress was like a really, really fun added wrinkle to the God of War formula that I really, really enjoyed. And then like even after, I don't know about you, Matcha, but like even after I finished the story bits, I was just like hopping in there like randomly, like every once in a while, just like no goal in mind, just messing around with the combat, just getting into fights and stuff like that. Even though I had finished the campaign, just because like it's just fun to play God of War in this way, you know?
It's one of those things where I want to go back and play on the hardest difficulty, which is something I don't do for the new God of War games because I heard Give Me God of War was insanely difficult. And that game's already pretty difficult as it is. I even do that for Ragnarok, but I play this on progress, which is like the second highest difficulty, and that felt just right for like the kind of challenge I wanted, as well as I was trying to basically adapt like the skill I got from playing the original game, which again was pretty difficult on its own. But I want to play it on Give Me Mastery because I want to see what kind of builds I can do, and I'm not one of these crazy people that are posting up their high scores and having all these kinds of limits because that area that you're talking about, Soul Walt, man, like that shit is stressful. I was making sure to go to the easiest batch of enemies that I can so that I can go into the boss with full health, all upgraded rune attacks and everything, just absolutely demolish them. So, and they're like, when you keep coming back to it, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now just like, geez, like this is really fleshed out and kind of way more than I was giving you credit. Exactly. Way more than I was giving credit for. Thank you,
We haven't even talked about like the story and what it does with Kratos, and obviously we won't get into specifics, but like I
cried.
yeah, and like I really love just like it is really just like a self-examination of that character's past more so than ever before, and him coming to accept that who he was during the Greek days was a part of him, and that like that version of himself is unforgivable, but there's still like that side of him was very, very complex, and he had his reasons, and coming to acknowledge that side of him, it was like some really, really powerful stuff. And this goes beyond even just like all the references and him actually getting to like hear his thoughts and just like reasonings, and him just talking about some of these moments that we all know and recognize from the God of War trilogy, Greek trilogy. It was really, really cool, and such a cool like sign of like growth for that character, just to like see him like working through a lot of that stuff.
I think one of the biggest things in general that this revamped franchise established is how much, and reminded me how much I really needed to just hear Kratos take a moment, stop, and think about things. Because throughout the entire Greek, not just trilogy, all 6 games, because Ascension, Ghost of Sparta, and what was the other one? Chains of Olympus.
Mm-hmm.
He never had a conversation. Only when a weapon was being made with Hephaestus and everything. But everything else was just like, no, we're not talking. Even Pandora, he was like, I'm gonna let this girl go and I'm gonna beat your ass, Zeus. Like, the man never had a moment. And this time around, it's nice to just hear him, like, speak. Which, by the way, real quick, guys.
Well, just real quick, just interject, because Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta are both really dramatic stories for that character. more so that I think that
He's
some
still
people-
impulsive.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, because of the decisions he makes in those games, and to the point where like some of it is even mini games. You know, it's kind of goofy, but you get to hear him really reflect on that, and it's
Right.
it's magical, honestly, what they've done with it. Sorry, continue.
With Valhalla, and I want to tackle like real quick the aspect of Valhalla, which is it is a rogue. Is it a rogue light or rogue like?
I don't know the differences, to be honest.
Yeah,
So I think like it has to do with like the way that the procedurally generated thing is, or what. Let's say roguelite. With
yeah,
it,
I don't know, but I'll say it's a pretty forgiving one in general.
it's forgiving.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's pretty
now
forgiving.
considering God of War and now Last of Us is doing it with the remastered, what's a game that y'all would like to see a roguelite mode being introduced into it? Because that's already two Sony properties that are doing it.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, people keep saying because Ratchet makes sense because you have the arsenal of weapons and tools to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a good pick.
Personally, I wouldn't choose Spider-Man. Really, I don't think.
Right. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that'd be weird. That'd be boring. I feel like. What's that? So?
That yeah. So when I say it's more for it's generally like forgiving. Just because like you can suspend the game at like certain checkpoints. Whereas Returnal, when we played it at launch, right, it was like you're in there for the long haul, boys.
Oh shit!
You know?
Yeah.
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 So yeah.
That's true. Returnal that's the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Or,
yeah,
like,
it's definitely
I think that's.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
think you hit the nail on the head. So I think you just made. I think that's what makes the roguelite from a roguelike, because I think one lets you keep the items that you acquire, while the other one just is a blank slate from the beginning, like Returnal. But
Yeah,
no, because
yeah.
Returnal you get upgrades though. I don't know the game.
There were some things you could carry over. I forget which, but
Right.
yeah, and then also yeah, it was same with God of War. There's a lot of things that you can keep from run to run as well. Obviously there's a
Gotcha.
lot of things that reset, but there's also things that you carry over. But
And
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
and Macho said that this is up there with the likes of Undead Nightmare and Old Hunters. Macho, would you say this is the number one DLC for a game?
It's up there. I said before. I mean, the tweet that I sent out, I didn't mean for it to get so much interaction, but it did. That I put it on the level of BioShock Infinite, Burial at Sea, Undead Nightmare. I'm sure if I played Phantom Liberty, probably Phantom Liberty. Like, I'll put it up there in terms of the DLC, because it's the gameplay is just so crispy and amazing and fun, and the builds you can.
It's not grilled.
It's like grilled, and the things you could do with it are just the stuff that we wanted. Like God of War Ragnarok and 2018 are so great with the combat and what you do, and it's so much fun to play. But you are hampered by the story bits and like the moments, the moment-to-moment stuff. So you're not constantly in the action like we would get from other or from past God of War games. This is sort of that answer to that, and you get to really see what the developers were flexing about when it comes to the combat system, and you get to show it off with all different stuff that you could do. It's such an ingenious idea for the series and for this combat system that they built, that they really harped on to be something that people will argue what's better, the old ones or this one. For me, it's like a no-brainer. This one, absolutely, 100%. Because
But this one wouldn't be anything without the old ones. Like that's the thing. Like it's better. It's not necessarily the one all be like you can't just jump into
it's
this.
Evolved, you know.
You need to have played in order to enjoy Valhalla. I feel like to fully enjoy it, you'd have to play the trilogy, the old trilogy, right?
I mean, yeah, because of the story and what they do with it. It's just I just love the fact that they took the page from Hades, which was every time that you're coming back from getting killed in Valhalla, you're getting more story bits, and it's not just big cutscene after big cutscene. That exists in the game, and they're definitely there. It was to the point where we came across a big story moment, and someone was like, "Was that a movie?" I was like, "No, that was just a cutscene." And there's a bunch of those in this and throughout the reboot of God of War. But there's little moments like when you pick up an item in a random location, and there's some story bits on there. And of course, Mimir has his stories that he's going to be telling you as you keep exploring, and that keeps evolving with every run. So there's not only that hook of what other story bits I'm going to get, or what other kind of inflection I'm going to get from Kratos here about his past, and being a God of War fan, that's like candy for us, but also just the fact that the gameplay is so damn fun. It's for me, it's like perfect. It's absolutely perfect, and I've no qualms about it. So yeah, it's up there for me with the best DLCs that has ever been released.
It's really good, man. It's really good. I'm glad that I pretty much just got into it immediately. So yeah, I'm really happy about that I didn't wait.
Yeah, and the story is just fantastic. I really can't say to Walt enough. Like, as someone that's played the old God of War games, you're absolutely going to be an emotional wreck by the end of it. You're just be in awe of what Sony Santa Monica did with Kratos. You thought they did something with him in 2018 in Ragnarok. This is the ultimate cap to that story.
They cooked.
Oh, dude,
they really cooked, huh?
They cooked, seasoned, and served, and we were fiending for it.
The last thing
it gave us the little mints at the end of the restaurant.
The last thing I'll say about it is that I don't know how you feel about this, Macho, and while I'm curious to see how you feel about it when you do finish it, I feel like that was kind of a send off for Kratos. I got the same vibe from the ending of this DLC as I did with at the end of The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine DLC when Geralt and Regis are sitting together like on this or at this campfire, and Regis is talking to Geralt, and he says, "After all this time, I think we're due a bit of a rest." And then it turns to Geralt, and then he kind of nods and says, "That we do." And then he turns to the camera and looks directly like at you, the player, before the screen goes black, right? So that kind of like, yes, like Geralt is going to be taking a rest for a little bit, as in the franchise itself. Like he's earned his rest. This franchise has earned its rest. Now CDPR is going to go on to new and better and bigger things, right? Kind of that breaking the fourth wall kind of thing. Now, that doesn't exactly happen here, but I feel like Kratos' final line before the screen goes black, it kind of gave me a similar vibe. I don't know if Macho you felt the same way, but that was immediately what was going through my head is when I heard Kratos say that last line to Mimir. I was like, oh, this if this is a send off, I would be okay with that because it kind of feels like a send off.
Yeah, they were smart about it, man, because in that final monologue, they built up something. You're like, oh, there could be a little bit more here to chew on if they decide to, like, they create an avenue for them if they decide to go down that path. If there was a story there they wanted to tell, and they wanted to put Kratos back in there. But to your point, the final shot, the final line, sort of the final dialogue that happens, you're just like, okay, my man, he's earned it. He's earned it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was God of War Ragnarok Valhalla.
Perfection.
Just a fantastic cap to the year for me, and Macho as well.
And very symbolic, isn't it? Because usually at the end of the year we come across like, you know, how far we come in the year, and we're sort of having this reflection moment of our past times, the good, the bad, all the in between, and how like symbolic is it and just reflective that we get to experience that in this video game for one of the most like iconic characters of all time.
Well, what was funny was, and actually, if you guys don't mind doing it, we should all pull up like our PlayStation wrap up and talk about like what was our like most played games for the year. What was funny was that when I was looking at that, the first game that I played this year was actually God of War Ragnarok, and it was funny that even though Ragnarok Valhalla won't be the last game I play this year, it was funny that like, oh, it kind of came a little bit full circle where it's like one of the finals I'm playing in the year 2023.
There you go.
Yeah, that was cool. Okay. After Ragnarok Valhalla, I jumped back into Hitman. Um,
There you
Oh my
go.
uh,
god.
I just
It's always
randomly,
it's always back there.
well, just randomly, I just started like falling into like a Hitman level tier ranking like list on YouTube like whole like just like watching a bunch of people ranking all levels and just like watching all these places I was like damn dude I missed this game and there's still a bunch of Hitman 2 levels that I haven't played so yeah let's just jump back in man so re-downloaded it knocked off a couple of the Hitman 2 levels that I didn't get to
Which were
and yeah
those?
just uh it was Mumbai, Wilton Creek, and the Isle of Sagail or whatever. That like Illuminati kind of like fortress uh
Yep.
island. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which they're all Hitman 2 is weird because it doesn't have the strongest levels in the series. Obviously Miami is a standout, right? Everyone loves that one. I love it too. But then it's like after that, like Santa Fortuna is not a great level. Mumbai is too big. It's way too big of a level. Isles of Sagail is just like Mumbai. It's way too big. So I don't. It takes like 2 hours to goddamn complete it for me at least. Um, and then Wilton Creek is kind of boring because it's just a neighborhood. I like the change of pace because it's literally just like an American suburbs. But it's very flat, right? So it's just like you going inside of like a bunch of people's homes and stuff like that. So
Wow.
if
Okay.
that's
So those three levels you're talking about, I love those from Hitman too.
really
Yeah, because
well,
Mumbai what just felt so alive.
it does, it does. Here's the thing, I probably have to go through it a couple more times, but yeah, I was pretty overwhelmed with it. My
Because
because it was my first time, so I felt overwhelmed.
I'm
Um,
trying to remember because I think that's one of the ones where I'm trying to remember. Is that the one where you're able to get a kill from while getting like going to a barber shop?
I think so.
If that's the one, then yeah, because that one just like I was just living and breathing in that place, man. Like it's such a beating heart of a level. I was just in love with it. And Wilton Creek, that one, yeah, I can see why you think it'd be pretty boring because it is flat, but I just thought it was hilarious, kind of going around this neighborhood where they're having cookouts and
Oh,
shit.
I had fun. I had fun going inside everyone's home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, it was great.
and yeah, there was like a lady who was like up to some like weird stuff in her basement, and like I was just like exploring, and I didn't even hear her coming down. The moment I saw her, I get crouched down, and then she has like a giant like oven in her basement where she's cooking people maybe.
Oh shit.
and so like I'm hiding behind this counter and like she goes over to her like giant oven thing and I don't know she's like talking like oh these people blah 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 like I really need to get back at them and then like I just sneak up behind her and like choke her out and then I put her inside the oven and she's not even my target she's just a random NPC who just like was a like I was worried that she was gonna like discover that I was here and blow my cover. So I was like, you know what, lady, you're in the way. You're this completely like inconsequential NPC, but it's cool that she like almost has like a story of her own, even though she's not important to the plot at all. Because it's like, man, like what the hell is she's like what is she up to down here, right? So I think Hitman really does exceed at little things like that. Um,
It really hit,
but
man.
yeah. Um, the it's also really weird because so like originally I downloaded Hitman 3 in 2021, finished all of that and loved it so much that I then bought Hitman 1, all of its levels and imported it into Hitman 3 so I could just access all those levels in one place.
Hmm.
Did the same thing with Hitman 2. And then this year, I think it was this year, they combined all three games into Hitman World of Assassination. So literally you can just like instead of having to buy everything all piecemeal, bam, everything is just like all available in this like one launcher essentially. Um but
Yeah.
I I don't know what happened because now it's like it's asking me to like rebuy those levels, the DLC levels specifically. which doesn't make
Mm.
any sense because I had previously played the New York Bank mission in Hitman 2 and the like Getaway Tropical Island DLC mission in Hitman 2 as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now it's asking me to like rebuy those or something. So like I can't even access and it even says like in the stats that like, oh no, like you've definitely played these levels before, but I can't access them now because IO Interactive, I don't know, like condensed all three games and put it into one platform thing. So I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, that's Hitman 3. Um, the last thing I will talk about is I finished Doom Messiah, the second of the six main Dune books. And are you guys planning to watch Dune Part 2 next year?
No, I haven't even watched part one
Um,
really. I figured I was gonna
yeah,
watch them like
I
when they
haven't
all
seen one, but
released.
I just know that
Uh,
it's a chunky one, so I want to make sure I give it my full attention when I watch it.
you dumb, dumb idiot. Uh,
I thought you were gonna be like, you dumb bitch.
but yeah, I'll keep this quick then. But yeah, Doom Messiah is really interesting because like before I started it, I always heard that like this is one of the most like hated sequels of all time. Like when people rank all six Dune books, Doom Messiah is usually five or six, typically at six. Um, but then like I can see why, but I really, really love this book because like Dune 1 is like this giant, like sprawling adventure. It's this space opera, right? And then Dune Messiah is like a political drama. Like it's literally the entire book is literally just like Game of Thrones style, people just like scheming, having plans on top of plans on top of plans, like dethrone Paul, who has just become this like deity, emperor of the entire universe character. And it's literally that for the entire book. These people just trying to scheme and bring down Paul. And I could see when you compare that to the first Dune book, why people don't like the second book as much. um, and then also like Paul as a character, like this book is so interesting because it's he's become essentially this god to the entire universe, but he hates it. He hates like everything that his powers has brought him, and this book is basically about like demystifying him and like bringing him down to just talk about like all the like terrible awful things that has come along with like his rise to power. So like I don't know, I just think it's really really cool that it's like he's the protagonist of this story, and the second book is really about just like dragging him through the coals of just like how awful like his like new empire has been to the universe, and like the absolute like horrors they've committed to multiple planets, and like him as a character as well. It's like really just like about deconstructing this man and like bringing him down a peg. And I don't know, man, I find that so fascinating because I feel like we don't really see that a lot with main protagonist. Like he's supposed to be the hero. He's like the Luke Skywalker of this story, and just so to like completely do like a 180 and like not celebrate him, I think is really really fascinating direction to take this book. And that's probably the main reason why people hate this book is just how the writer treats Paul in this book. And I don't know, I just wanted to like talk about that a little bit because I think it's really fascinating how they do him. And the ending with him as well is controversial, but I loved it, man. um, so yeah, that's Doom Messiah. It's also the shortest book in the whole series. Um, but yeah, man, it was a fantastic read. Um,
And
I'm
that's the
reading book
second book?
three. Yeah, that's the second book. The current movies they split the first book in the two parts because the first book is really big. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm currently reading the third one, which is called Children of Dune, which, as the name implies, revolves around Paul's children. So yeah, very excited to get into that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to these past couple of weeks. A lot of games and Doom. Walt, finish us off, man. What have you been up to?
You want me to finish you off?
Oh
That's
man.
crazy.
You see,
So,
he wants you to finish both of us off. So make sure you do a good job.
wow, no. So, what have I been doing? Honestly, games, man, games and movies and shows. So, okay, so to be real, I've been really hooked on just like manga again. So I've been trying to keep up. Not catch up. Well, catch up, yeah, sure. My Hero, trying to catch up on that manga. Uh, I think officially, I can confidently say that we have reached the final fight pretty soon. Like we're gonna get to the final fight pretty soon in My Hero Academia, the manga. Um, the I don't know if we talked about this last time, but did you watch the last episode of Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Did it live up to expectations? Did you enjoy it?
So the reason why I took so long to answer that was because I watched a reaction to it. So like I kind of like half watched it. Um,
Okay.
from what I
I mean, you read
remember,
the manga, so
well, I read the manga, but I didn't read the last like two chapters or whatever.
gotcha. Okay.
So it looked fine to me.
No, yeah, it was a fantastic. I think the anime, for some reason, people were happier with the anime ending than the manga ending, even though they're the exact same thing. Um, I loved it. It was a movie basically. It was like an hour almost long. For games, I've been playing a lot of the finals on PlayStation 5. Uh, this is listen. I think we all go through these transitional free game periods. You did Destruction, Macho's still on that Final Fantasy bullshit. So right now, I'm doing the finals and I'm hooked. I'm playing almost every day.
I'm with you in the
It's
files, dumb bitch. You squat up, but you don't. Never mind.
So have you played the finals at all?
No, but I almost clicked download on it the other day.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, Macho, he
that's
almost hit
that's the funniest.
download. That's
That's the funniest backhand comment I ever heard in my life. I
I was
almost
I
hit
was
crazy.
download on that game. I almost did.
yeah, I was looking for some things, but
Some
I had
things.
Looking for the
I think
browser,
I
the
think
web browser.
no, I think that's
Bro's
why.
looking for stroke the dick. Remember that game?
Whoa. I
That
think
game.
that's
That's
when I
a.
downloaded Hitman instead.
Okay, that's a good choice. No, I've been playing that. Super Mario Wonder. It's a wonder. It's such a fantastic game. Macho pretty much said, I mean, what I was gonna echo. It's just the controls are the best I think in a 2D Mario since like World. Um, this feels like my favorite 2D Mario. I think this is my favorite 2D Mario. I can't say it's my favorite Mario because I treat 3D and 2D separately. They're very distinct philosophies to Mario. Um, I have I got the deck OLED, so I also have been just downloading stuff on that. Gonna try and get on that Persona 4 Golden train again and see if I can finish it at some point. Um, but unfortunately, I'm looking forward to Persona 3 Reload, so that'll also be taking my time. Uh, Aside from that, one of the bigger highlights the last week or so has been Godzilla. That movie is phenomenal. Oh my god. When you talk about like a monster movie, because I think there's two distinct types of monster movies. There's the Unga Boonga kind of just, oh, big monster go boom. But then there's the, oh my god, like I'm scared. Like this is like a terrifying. They make Godzilla terrifying. Like I think in the other movies it's more of like oh, like who's gonna win? No, and this one's like no, I hope. How do you win against Godzilla? But I hope the humans win somehow. Uh, it's a phenomenal. I think it was Toei. I forget the director's name, but it's a subbed, so it's in Japanese. It's a Japanese movie, but I went in, did not remember that at all, so I wasn't ready to read subtitles. But I went into my anime head and went in, and I loved it. I'm probably gonna rewatch it. I mean, sometime next week, maybe after Christmas. Um, what else have I been doing? I don't think there's any shows I've been watching or any new shows. Oh my god. So, when I tell you that I am so excited that we are getting a remake that I didn't know we needed of an anime. Are you aware of this, Macho?
Yes, it saved me because that was gonna be one of my New Year's resolutions going into next year.
Oh,
Now I don't need to do it.
I don't want to hear no one say it's too long. Not anymore. You can start from episode 1 in Romance Dawn with One Piece, the remake by Netflix.
Yeah, but it's gonna be one episode
It's
per
gonna be
week.
Hey man,
Oh.
it's gonna be fine because the pacing's gonna be better. It's gonna be cleaner. It's Wit, Attack on Titan, motherfuckers. It's gonna be Wit Studio, Studio Wit rather.
So it's actually gonna have good animation.
It's gonna, yeah, man, because like it didn't get good until like
It didn't what?
it didn't get good. It didn't get good until like post time skip, like around whole cake.
Huh?
No, man, it's whatever. I'm excited, man. I can't wait until we see Alabasta in like 2 years. No, I don't know the frequency which they're gonna do it. Maybe I hope they do it in batches, like 3 episodes a week or something.
they have some of the arcs condensed into movies, right? Like Alabasta and Skypiea, and
They
those
have
have
the
updated animation.
They have the entirety of East Blue in a 45-minute movie or something like that.
And they look nice. They have like animated
look
animation
great.
and art.
And I think stretch that out a little bit because there are some key moments that you want to elaborate on, like Sanji's backstory, Zoro's backstory, the Arlong Park. I think those parts should be a bit longer for emotional reasons. But I think they have this in the bag. I am so excited. That is like one of my, because I'm already like in the 600s, but I'm gonna start from scratch again. I don't care because now they're gonna actually do it service. Because I assume Oda might also be involved with it or something. Aside from that, man, nothing much else. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen has me like dizzy. That anime has been too much. That is too much. When people said that the Shibuya incident or accident arc was one to be hyped, oh man. Every episode. By the way, I feel so sorry for Mappa. I feel so sorry for them. It sucks. The conditions that they've been in. Apparently, like they have gotten little to no rest. Like the compensation is not there. The work conditions are awful. And when you watch Jujutsu Kaisen, almost every episode has been movie quality. So it's not like they're not doing their best. So shout out to them. They're doing amazing. I hope they get a fucking break. This year they made like 5 to 6 animes. Like I don't know how they do it.
They don't sleep.
Yeah, man.
They don't sleep, man.
They don't sleep. No, bro. Legit. I think like I saw some tweets. Some of them have beds in the fucking studio.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's normal for
That's
them.
insane.
That's normal. Unfortunately.
I think FromSoft had some shit like that at some point. They had like little rooms with like bunk beds or some shit. Man, Japan's wild.
But I mean, it serves for one that shouldn't be normalized, but it seems like that's like it's really based like on the passion of the people. Not normal, but it's like based on the passion of the people, you know. So, I mean, it just shows that
it's
studio
expected.
that should I'm sure like from studio heads and all this stuff, but like it just shows like the fact that they're producing such high quality stuff even with those terrible work conditions just shows how much they love the material they're making, how much they really like love doing it. But even then, yeah, there needs to be some sort of limits on that kind of stuff for sure.
Absolutely. And I think like if they are, let's say they're going to be sleeping in the studio, like provide them some quarters, you know, like provide them like an environment where they can be like, hey, you're going to be here for the week. We have these accommodations for you. You're able to actually rest, but it's like, it sounds inhumane the way that it's happening. So, hopefully all the anime enjoyers, not, they're supporting somehow, because I know most of the anime people don't watch these anime on their streaming services, unfortunately. Uh, Watch more on Crunchyroll. It helps them, I guess. Uh, but aside from that, man, I mean, I have a shit ton of games that I need to get through. Plus, the Game Awards did no help with the announcements, especially with Monster Hunter Wilds. Like, why
Mm,
are you doing this to me? So, why would you give
mm.
me an announcement for a game that I'm only gonna play that for like a month, like a whole straight month? Like, that's insane. All these games, there was so many good announcements, like for games that I actually am looking forward to. But I still haven't played half the games this year.
Yeah, yeah.
That's on me. That's
Um,
poor time management, I guess.
we'll definitely talk about that. Your poor time management, I meant. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So really quickly before we move on to like just like I guess Game Awards wrap up really quick and then talking about our plans for the holiday break. Do you guys have your PlayStation wrapped up pulled up?
Yeah, I do. I got it.
Okay. You
Want
want
me
to
to
do
go first?
yours
Yeah.
first? Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So,
well, what do you want to talk about? Just like our top 5 games that we played this year, or what?
well, I was just gonna list off what stats they gave me. Hold on, let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. Are those the same thing? Yeah, so like how they give you like little cards basically of like here's your most played game, here's your first play game, blah blah blah. I was just gonna go through that, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so I'll go back for opportunities too. So in total on PS5 I played 36 games and I started with Lost Judgment, which is actually that when I was trying to get the platinum trophy, I did not get the platinum trophy in that game. The side
Yeah, you
quests.
maniac. It's a Yakuza game. What's wrong with you?
I wanted to get my first platinum trophy in a RGG studio, and I wanted to be Lost Judgment because I really love that game. But Mahjong and the other stuff, yeah, that shit kind of broke me. And plus on top of like the what's it called, the drone flying stuff. Yeah, that was quite wild.
No, no way. The only RGG platinum I have is Like a Dragon, with the new protagonist, because they don't have the bullshit where you have to complete the workbook and like the 1,000 mini games. So.
Oh really? Okay, that's good to know.
Mhm.
So my top game of the year was Final Fantasy 16, obviously. This took up
Of course.
112 hours of my time in the year. I got the platinum trophy, so I did play through it twice. I got played the normal and then Final Fantasy mode. And on top of that, the DLC came out. The DLC shadow dropped during the Game Awards. I ended up playing that, ended up streaming it, and everything else. So it was a lot of fun. That was a good one. And let's see what the other one we got here. Role player is like my top genre. Obviously, 100. What was it? 805 hours. Excuse me. Was spent playing 33 games on my PlayStation 5. I earned 417 trophies, and I made 6 new friends throughout the year.
Oh, you got those?
Yeah, I do, you dick. Um. Anyway, yeah. So my top 5 games were Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6 with 110 hours, Octopath Traveler 2 with 99 hours, and that was all just from playing the main story of the game. That wasn't even extras. Hogwarts Legacy with 89 hours, and Lost Judgment with 71 hours, but I'm not sure if that's counting my previous playthrough or just the amount of time I put into it when I started it again in the year. So yeah, overall, but now I think Street Fighter 2 is my most played game though now, because I have like 125 hours. I've been putting a lot more time to it. So yeah, those are
Nice.
that's my wrap up.
Nice. Let me knock mine out really quick. So I'm just gonna do the top 5 games. So obviously number 1 was Baldur's Gate 3 at 179 hours. That accounted for 22% of like my overall playtime this year, which is crazy. Number 2 was Wasteland 3 at 74 hours. Number three, I'm surprised by this. Maybe I shouldn't be. Was God of War Ragnarok? I played it for 62 hours. Oh, that's because I'm trying to think. When did I do the stream on the channel? I think
It
I
was
didn't.
this year.
Right, so I didn't finish this game until this year. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, because we
That
had
makes
our spoiler cast pretty late.
Right. Number four was Alan Wake 2 at 52 hours. And then number five was Hogwarts Legacy at 49 hours.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, so
What was really hilarious about that, how long to beat the infamous, not infamous, the famous website basically tell you how long, you know, your average time for to beat a video game is. Apparently, they've been posting up their stats, and from what I was hearing across a couple of podcasts, was that Hogwarts Legacy was a game that everybody just dropped and everybody forgot about. Turns out, this is one of the most completed games of the year.
I mean, it's not that long, right? So
No, it's not. Yeah, it's just funny to hear like people be like, "Oh, I haven't heard who actually finished it." It's actually the most completed game of the year, followed by Legend
I
of
think
Zelda.
we just didn't talk about it.
No, it's people hating because they're not in the same circle, ignorant. But that's besides the point. Final Fantasy 16 was number 5, so there you go.
the last thing that I'll that I want to point out here is the month by month, like what was the most game that, or what was like the game of the month for you guys. For me, January obviously was God of War Ragnarok. February February and March was Hogwarts Legacy. April was Dishonored Definitive Edition. May and June was Wasteland 3. July and August was Just Cause 4 Reloaded. September and October was Baldur's Gate 3. November was Alan Wake 2. And then December is God of War Ragnarok. That's it.
I don't think I got that
Alright, let me
actually.
embarrass myself real quick.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, I don't think I saw that actually on my part. I'm gonna sign in
Go
and
ahead
see.
and embarrass myself real quick.
Yeah, because you didn't play jack shit.
No, this year has been really weak for me compared to last year, where I actually had it stacked with like, I don't know, like 200 something hours. This year, however, ladies and gentlemen, my top 5. Macho, can you give us my number 1 is?
Hmm.
The Bluey video game.
Strangers of Paradise.
Oh shit! Really? Hell yeah! Let's go.
I love it.
Goated.
That was the most memorable time. I have 22 hours on that. Number 2 is Destiny 2. Number 3 is Neo 2 Remastered. On number 4 is Diablo 4, and number 5 is Spider-Man. By month, where I'm the role player, of course, because that's all Strangers of Paradise is. January I had Elden Ring. February and March I had Hogwarts Legacy. April I had Destiny. May I had Strangers of Paradise. Final Fantasy was on June. July and August there's no game data. On September I had Monster Hunter World. October Lies of P, very thematic. November I had Spider-Man. December thus far I have the finals.
Nice.
I am a role player, of course, and recommends me role-playing games that I already own. This year I played 105 hours, which is still healthy. That's like a normal person's gaming, you know what I mean?
On your PS5, you put 105 hours into your PS5 this year?
Yeah, the others were movies and shit that I also use it for. So.
That $500 is
it's not just gaming, Macho.
It's going to waste. What that is? That $500 is going to waste.
Going to waste. That's crazy.
You're not playing shit. Boy.
Look at my goddamn plat.
You're not playing shit, boy.
Next year, that shit gonna change. Bro.
I knew your list was full of shit.
Next year's not looking good.
I knew your list was
no,
full of shit.
I have games I haven't played from this year, so like, I'm gonna be playing games that I haven't played from this year's though. What was that much? I couldn't hear you.
I knew your list was full of shit when you said Monster Hunter World. We played that for 1 week with Raymar.
Yes, sir. Couple hours here and there. I got 93 trophies.
What's funny is you said 105, right?
Yeah.
My hours this year was 782.
Wow. So I have 805.
Oh, okay. We're not that far off.
No.
Can I look at like my past?
That's
Hello?
That's wild. He's just put 100 hours into his PlayStation 5.
You know what's wild? You know what's wild?
Podcast.
That back in the day, it used to be like, wow, he's really going out a lot. Now it's like, damn, you didn't game? What a loser! You touched too much grass this year, motherfucker.
You know what's crazy?
This was the year to play games. That's why.
You know what's crazy about that is that me playing Baldur's Gate 3 alone was more hours than him this entire year. and I've only been playing Baldur's Gate 3 since late August. So
Listen, this has been a very transformative year for me. I've been
congratulations! You got some Gucci. Now you're a changed man.
It's not Gucci, motherfucker. I got a fucking actual like job that I'm like focusing on and I enjoy. Fucking and Gucci too. No, but like I really like my like actual full-time job that I can, focus on, and I'm tired after work. Oh, I'm so tired. No, man.
No, yeah,
like, I want to watch more YouTube.
You learned the true balance of having a job and then gaming and then wanting not to do shit when you get home. And it's the weekend, so you're actually gonna do something that you don't get any type of gaming. Yeah, you found out.
You know what's crazy? No, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Is that y'all ain't living my life. So like, worry about your 700s and 800s, okay? I'm out here relaxing and focusing on shit that I hadn't taken care of in years, and I realized how broken me and how much I needed to work on me, and now I can actually game without having anxiety every 5 minutes.
All right. We don't need to hear your Kratos sob story, okay?
He's like, I killed my daughter.
I did it for them.
I killed my daughter.
I killed them.
Real quick, I'll just trot down my real quick. So Lost Judgment's in January. Hogwarts Legacy was February. March was Octopath Traveler 2. April was Octopath Traveler 2. May was Kingdom Hearts. Street Fighter 6 was in June. Final Fantasy 16 was in July. Street Fighter 6 in August. Street Fighter 6 in September.
That's crazy. Where's the variety? You clown on me for not game. You're playing the same shit over and over.
At least I actually finished my game, dolt. How's Marvel Spider-Man 2, by the way? That was my game in October.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Finish it?
Yes.
Yeah, shut the fuck up!
No, not yet.
Final Fantasy 16 November.
The only time that you ever flaunted beating a game, because earlier you were shitting about, oh no, I've never really been one for scores, was fucking Seifu last year, where you're like, oh, I got platinum on both. Like, who are you? A journalist? Oh,
well, first of all, journalists don't finish their games, so that's the whole thing.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah. Street Fighter 6 was in December. Actually, the one I'll flaunt to you, Walt, which I'm actually surprised it's not on my list here, was Liza P. I put like maybe 40 hours into that thing. I'm surprised it's not on here. Either way, very good game, and I beat it before the easy patch, so fuck you, Walt.
Easy patch? There's an easy patch?
Yeah, they patched it recently that makes the combat a little easier. Because I think there's like a certain skill that you could earn through spending the quartz. I think it's like a wake up dodge roll. I think it's what it is. And
Jesus Christ,
and they
Sifu
actually
all over again, because he said,
and I think they patched it
before
in.
they added this patch.
And I think they patched it in so you just don't have to actually spend.
It's like saying I went to college and I paid for my tuition, but now they're doing debt relief. How dare you? It's like, shut up.
That's not even remotely connected. I'm just glad that I can prove with actual facts and evidence I'm a better gamer.
Who are you proving?
But okay.
NASA?
Let's move on. Let's move on. Besides about
Motherfuckers applying for the CIA. Look at my stats, Chief. I got Seafood Platinum twice, and I got the Lice of P 48 plus hours without the patch. Oh, son, do you also have FF14
son.
times 2000? Yes, sir. Look at my profile. I have 5 furry characters.
the Game Awards. The Game Awards.
What about it?
One guy on the panel. What was an announcement that really stood out to you? For me, it was Hello Games' new game, Light No Fire.
Yo, that shit was so
bro.
funny. Meanwhile, we're talking about that. This dude.
All right, Sean. Last time you fucked up, okay? You overshot. You said 16. I don't know how many gazillion planets. Take it easy now, okay? All right. So we're creating Earth. It's like, bro, what do you mean?
That trailer was amazing when he was like, "Yeah,
So good.
we made a procedure generated space, and now we want to do Earth." Like, what?
That's crazy.
I love the
Bro
guy.
said, "I am God."
That trailer was amazing, though. I really like that. I'm looking
It's
forward
so
to playing
good.
that.
I am so excited. And so that hopefully one day we'll play co-op. You haven't played co-op with us at all. In the 3 years that we've been doing this bullshit. Like,
he chuckles.
it's always I play all these. Play games with us, motherfucker.
He chuckles. He's like,
He's like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I will.
You know that's
Aha, I
not
did
happening.
it. Motherfucker. He can get fucking Divinity 3 XL Burrito supercharging game and be the game of his dreams with co-op, and he'll say, I'd rather not. And it's like,
Hell no.
God, fucking gremlin. Bro, Light No Fire. Yeah, you mentioned Light No Fire. I mentioned Monster Hunter earlier. Honestly, Monster Hunter is wild. That's wild. that's fucking
saw that
crazy.
shit coming.
Like, you know, like it was the kind of thing where like you always like, oh, Monster Hunter World 2, Monster Hunter World 2, and finally you get something better. Like Cap Gods keep proving that we don't want a sequel, we want something better, and they cook it, and they did it, and it looks amazing. Oh, I'm so excited for that. What about you, Macho? What's something not Light No Fire, not Monsters? What's something, and not Final Fantasy? What's something that's
Fuck. You saw it coming, so god damn it.
Yeah, say
Yeah.
fucking confessions
man.
over here
Yeah,
in the
that's-
stream. This is what I do.
Hey,
Because I love this fucking show series so much.
Hey
I'm
man,
gonna
this
fucking.
is Shadow Drop.
I look at Tifa and I get.
Did he cut out or something? What's
up?
Did
No,
your
no, he just didn't finish.
Oh, okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah, what stood out, motherfucker?
My stats, because I got more than you and I'm a better gamer than you are.
Jesus
Any
Christ.
case,
I mean, I don't give a fuck.
any case, the Final 16 shout out DLC. And I'm gonna say Final Fantasy anyway. Fuck you all. The Final 16 DLC. That was a great shadow drop. I loved it. The trailer for Rebirth, actually showing off Sid and Vincent's face, that beautiful vampire face. I can't wait for that
Hey, yo.
fucking game, dog.
And it's Matt Mercer, baby.
It's Matt fucking Mercer.
Yes, sir.
That trailer, I actually did a reaction to it afterwards on my channel, and there's so much information packed into that thing that I was just like, all right, I'm gonna watch it once and never watch it again, forget about it, because we're legit 2 months away from the game, and it's gonna be absolutely nuts. They're gonna be taking the big leaps with this game, so keep your eye on it. And so finish the goddamn game, bro. Finish it before it comes out, and pick it up day one.
You know when you get like a trailer where you think maybe this is not what we wanted but what we needed, kind of like this is a match made in heaven almost. I think because I'm imagining what it could be, and it was the Blade announcement and the fact that Arcane is behind it.
Oh yeah.
Because in my mind I thought Dishonored does feel like a vampire type esque movement / abilities. Like,
And Soul
I
is
forget
so
his name.
disappointed.
Well,
Why?
so were you disappointed at the Blade announcement?
Me and Arcane are on sketchy ground ever since Deathloop, so
Okay.
uh, so I mean, you guys know how I felt. Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
just
but I
like
mean, Deathloop is the outlier. Everything else has been a hit, no?
true, but I mean, it's always it's always like, what have you done for me lately? And I feel like studios like most recent like game releases or whatever can be really dangerous because like Deathloop was still, even though I feel like a lot of people still had their grievances with that game and thought it was generally mid, critic reviews still praise that game a lot. And I think the dangerous thing is you can fall into like a Bethesda Game Studios thing where like, hey, like
Mm,
Oblivion was reviewed really, really well, but it was a little bit like, it was, you can see it was stripping down the RPG elements from the previous Elder Scrolls, and then it kept going and going and going and going. Even Fallout 4
mm,
still got a lot of good reviews, and well, it got like less good reviews than Skyrim. But like I feel like if you continue to be like praised and praised and praised, then like you as the developer, you're like, oh, we must be on the right track then. So like my fear,
Guys, real quick,
right.
I have a fire alarm going off right now, so I gotta head out of the building, see what's up.
Do your thing.
oh,
All right,
okay, okay.
all right.
So my fear is that like, are they getting the wrong message from Deathloop's like critical reception? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, no. I feel what you. It's like telling a kid, like a parent, like your child's like, oh, he's a cute child, but in reality, they're like an ugly baby. And like
Yeah,
tell the baby enough times that he's cute and he looks cute, and then when he's big, he's actually ugly, and it's like, no, you already
he's gonna
told him he's
believe that
ugly.
he's cute. Yeah, he's gonna believe that he's
Yeah.
cute. Yeah, so I'm hoping that like I mean I don't need to hope because I'm not gonna play the game anyway because I don't have an Xbox or a PC. But
Yeah, it's exclusive.
still,
Yeah.
my hope is that like they heard the feedback from Deathloop from like not just reviewers, but like from people who had genuine like who genuinely did not like that game compared to Dishonored and Prey,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll take that to heart for Blade and kind of rectify the mistakes they made with Deathloop because Deathloop was painfully mid in my opinion.
Mm. I
Um,
think like because I also look at studios well that didn't get the praise that they wanted or whatnot, like CD Project and how they flopped at the beginning, but then they came back, or like a Hello Games where they flopped in the beginning and then they came back. But in this case, Deathloop, I don't. It never was treated like it was a broken or like a miss. It was treated like it was a hit. And I mean, I hope that because this is a like an intellectual property, they treat it with a bit more care and not as experimental as Deathloop. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna be playing it. I'm just excited that like this combo exists where there could be a Dishonor esque like Blade game. Like that sounds fun. I don't know if
yeah.
I'll play it, but that sounds interesting. Um, but yeah, what's another announcement you that kind of grinded your gears?
Um, the so there's two. The Exodus game that was the very first thing shown.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that sci-fi game I think it was.
yeah, with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, yeah.
That studio has like a bunch of like ex BioWare, Naughty Dog, Rockstar devs and stuff like that. That doesn't really matter to me as much, but the fact that it's like being pegged as like a almost like spiritual successor to Mass Effect, like a new
Mm-hmm.
sort of game in that vein. Like I feel like we are sorely like we don't have a lot of things like that.
Right.
Like full-fledged like good space RPGs. There's my one Starfield dude for the show, you know. um, but yeah, that looks it piqued my interest for sure. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other one, actually, I'll give you two actually. So first one was a game called Last Sentinel, which was like
Uh, which one was that?
it was like this like Ronin girl like, and there was like androids. in like she's like in a cyberpunk city or something like that.
Right.
Um, they're like hiding in this room, and this android like I think like punches a hole through the wall and like peeks through it,
I think I know the one. Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
kid is
Oh,
like
yeah,
also
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah, yeah.
android.
They're in a building. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's this like hunter that shows
Right.
up and saves them or something. And they're like
Yeah,
androids taking care of children. Like Detroit Become Human almost.
and she's like a Ronin or something like that. So like I think if I'm remembering correctly, she was like decked out in like a full like ninja like outfit and had like a katana. But
Oh.
it's called Last Sentinel, and
Oh,
I
okay.
think so.
Okay.
And yeah, it looked cool. That's also another one of those things where like the pedigree of like the developers who are at that studio, it's like one of
Hmm.
those like it's a brand new AAA studio made up of people from various big studios. And yeah, it's one of those teams I've been kind of keeping an eye on, so I'm excited to see what the game actually looks like, you know. And then the last one, I forget the name of it, but Ikumi Nakamura's new game.
Oh, oh my God. It had a
Kemuri, I think.
weird name.
I think it's Kemuri.
Well, Kimura. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, that
Yeah.
looks
I don't
so
know.
stylistically
Just
pleasing. I love when it's like there's like
yeah,
a tone, like you can tell what the game is gonna be. It's like it reminded me a little bit of like a Sunset Overdrive kind of thing. Um,
yeah. Even though it looks like it's gonna be like an online, like hero
hmm
shooter thing, but still, style wise, it looked pretty cool, and I'm just excited for her to see her like what she's been working on because we know that like when she left Tango, she went off to make her own studio. She's been quiet for a really long time, so yeah, it was cool to
hmm
finally see what she's been up to. What about you, man?
for sure. Um,
Oh
man,
wait, no, you already
honestly,
went. We were waiting for Macho.
yeah, no. I mentioned Monster Hunter, and he mentioned Final Fantasy 16's DLC, I think, and like Final Fantasy Rebirth, of course.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think I assume he's outside, uh, waiting the drill. But I can say that I mean one of the things that I remember it being my first game in the not franchise, I guess, was Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 for the Wii. That's where I first played this game. So seeing that there's gonna be like a continuation with the series, kind of with Sparkling Zero, I
Yeah.
think is the
That
name.
that got like the most or one of the most like audience reactions in the watch party I was at. Like people were losing their
Oh,
minds for that.
them fighting weaves are
Well, yeah,
frothing at the
because I
mouth.
go to a school that's primarily, we have just like video game like degrees and movie degrees and art degrees and stuff like that. So like this is literally
Hmm.
the audience for this stuff.
Made it up. You could
Yeah.
smell the musk when they were
Yeah,
cheering.
all right, all
Ugh.
right.
Man, I hope
But
Match is okay. I hope there was no real fire.
yeah, me too. It was funny. It was
um,
funny being in there and just like seeing like what people, because like like we are like more hardcore, like gamers and
mhm,
stuff like that. And so it was funny like being just like in a crowd of like people who are also like very much into gaming and PC gaming. I mean, they're going to school for gaming and stuff like that. And
mhm.
just seeing like what got the most cheers and what didn't and stuff like that. Like I was really, I think, reminded how big Fortnite was because, like,
Uh,
yeah, every time there was like an ad or like a new trailer or whatever, people were losing it. Um, yeah, so it was a eye-opening experience for sure.
that's true. I forgot that Fortnite was also in that.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, the that plus the whole OG map thing and everything involving like Fortnite has really gotten me in the mood to kind of re-download it at some point and jump back into it with a couple of my friends that still play it.
Hmm.
It looks so much
Yeah.
fun. Man, is he okay? Let me text him to see if he's good. Um,
There was
but
I was so mad because so the watch party at my school, they just I do not understand like the reasoning behind this, but they committed a cardinal sin at this
oh
watch
no.
party. So
do.
we're all gathered in this auditorium watching the Game Awards live,
Hmm.
and periodically throughout this 3-hour show, the professors or administration or whoever who are like in charge of the event stop
Hmm.
the live stream periodically throughout the entire show. Like let's say like every hour or so. They stop it like at the first hour. And
Are you serious?
they're like, okay, Full Sail students, time for a giveaway. And
Oh my
so like
god.
what they did was they had like a raffle, like, hey, like if we call your ticket, come up here and win some prizes or whatever. But it's like they would stop the goddamn live stream. And actually, the first two times that they did it, the live stream was still going on in the background. Um, but they like put up like
Oh, yikes.
they put up like another like their information like on the screen, so we couldn't even see the live stream, but the show was still going on, obviously. So we were missing some
Yeah.
trailers while they were up on the
Oh
stage
no.
doing this goddamn giveaway.
That
And
needed the oh brother, this guy
so
stinks.
I think the second time when they went up to do it, there was like there was like some big pause. Like they left, they finished the giveaway, and like they forgot to put on the show, the live stream or something. I don't know. Like they left and it just wasn't up there. And one person in the crowd was like, "Put on the game." I was
Hey
losing my
yo.
mind. And then it was funny because every time after that, when they would stop the live stream, you would just hear the groans in the audience. Like everyone would just be, oh fuck, man. Like we want to watch the show. But yeah,
I
that
just
was
remember that like in the vein of like reactions that I remember that there were two ones that because I was trying to like trying because there was someone that oh from the creators it was the Ori and the Will of the Wisp and like
yes, that was
Ori
great.
like was it something wicked uh No Rest for the Wicked
Hmm.
um that looked incredible. I think it was like pirate themed almost. um it looked amazing. Like they have an art style that I think it's like theirs like now like moving forward. Like they have like it's like super massive. Like you look at Hades or Transistor, like they have their own identity kind of. It was that. And honestly, I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but the Jurassic Park horror game, I know
Oh yeah.
that there were people that wanted like an authentic, like, 'cause I think the novels for Jurassic Park, they're like horror
Hmm.
novels. Like the movie's more action adventure kind of thing. So this looks exciting. I think the last time we got like a horror dinosaur game was like, I don't know if Turok is a horror or Dino Crisis. I don't know dinosaur games. Um, it looked good. It looked great. There were a lot of like great, good looking games. The Mana game. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Visions.
action
Yeah.
RPG. Visions of Mana. What did you think of the trailer that we got for Hellblade?
I didn't see it. That was one of the things I missed. So I yeah, completely missed that one. And the
Honestly, like
music performance too. We didn't get to see that.
yeah, that was the better part of it. The music, the trailer was just more Hellblade. I don't really know what's going on half of the time,
Hey guys,
Well,
but it looks
let's
fun.
real quick, I'm not sure how long I'll be outside, so do you want me to just end the stream?
Uh, sure. Let me just do my quick spiel. Yeah. So once again, guys, we will be back in 2024 to do our Game Awards. Go ahead and like the podcast, share it out, all that good stuff. Walt, you want to do a quick outro?
Yes, sir. So, uh, thank y'all for sticking around. Thank you for being here and for being gamers and for keeping this medium alive and well. We love gaming. Even if my numbers don't say it, I do find happiness and joy when it comes to even talking about games. So just having them around, I'm happy. I can't wait to play more like actual more games next year. I'm already starting with the finals, so I'm getting that itch. I'm in the funk, but I'm getting out of it. More movies, more shows, more manga, and
Well, I'm
finish
gonna
off.
die in this building. You hurry the fuck up.
Ah! I'm
We'll
gonna
see you
finish
guys
to finish
later.
these
We'll
two
see you
off.
guys later. All right. We'll see you in 20.